928-615-8963.
I was like, well, where's he at? I said, usually when I take a break, then everybody start donating so I can get these other books. I added 3 more books, so shut up. And I'm gonna keep adding it. It's like them crackheads when they be picking crumbs, when they be ghosting on the floor. I watch videos. I've seen enough. Dude. Anywho, and they be like, stuck. Ma, they can't even talk. Ma. Yeah, that's how I am with books, people. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Good afternoon. Or, you know, noches, buenas noches, you know. So, we're going to read a little bit of Iron Republic, and then later on we're going to read the rest. I want, you see what's up there, language, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to ask y'all something serious, all right? And whoever comes in later and see this, it's all with respect. I was sitting here this morning while I was reading a few things. I went out and grounded. I put a video up for y'all to look at and have a look. Usually when I'm out there, I'm in shorts, no shirt on, no socks, no nothing. Everybody walks by. They actually walk around me like, you know what I mean? Because I usually do some simple yoga stretches just because, you know, I have to, because otherwise my ligaments be tied up and this, that, and other. And usually when I go out to ground myself, I'm usually kind of sweating, like I guess you could say anaerobic. I do very, very deep hyper breathing to get myself as oxygenated as much as possible. You see, they say like with the water jugs, right? It says PVC free. Are you aware that the other chemical they use other than PVC to keep it a little sterner is just as deadly as the PVC? Y'all should call these water companies, and y'all should lash out without cursing them out and being disrespectful, and tell them we are more aware of what's in these plastic containers and why is that so. Now there is water like Viso, and you can buy this in glass. The issue at hand is that water is not. You can get a test, and you can test that water, and if it's very amber, it's very acidic. Okay. I would advise y'all to get these tests too. I have a few of them. I test my charcoal water, and then I test it after I put a little bit of lime. So I know exactly how much lime to put in my water. So if I've got a gallon and I'm going to drink a gallon of water, and I know I need some minerals in it, not only do I put 15 drops of chlorophyll, that's right. There is a hydrogen peroxide that is a palatable hydrogen peroxide. You can add, I forget how many drops. The one I have that I bought in Millville, New Jersey, I've had like a case of them. I keep them refrigerated in the crisper, very cool in there. They're always going to maintain as long as the seal's not broke. So what I do is when I take one out, I put 3 drops of that hydrogen peroxide, which is digestible. It's not the stuff that you clean your wounds and stuff with. I'd rather use betadine and stuff like that. And I put 3 drops in a gallon. And then on top of that, I take my Himalayan black ash salt because of the salt, the potassium, instead of potassium chloride, but it's the, I put about half a teaspoon in that in there, and I used to use Himalayan salt, but I don't do that no more. It's just don't. And I shake it up real good, and then when it's time to drink, that's when, in each glass I have, I put in about a tablespoon or half a tablespoon of lime or lemon juice, room temperature. I'm getting some minerals. It's better for you that way. I wanted to throw that out there for you, okay? I need to have clarity. So anyway, I just said I thought I'd share that with y'all. And I know some of y'all be looking at them Kung Fu pants. Man, where you get them Mandarin looking? Look, I've got all kind of Kung Fu uniforms going back over 40 years, y'all. I got half my closet, the walk-in closet is full of nothing but authentic robes, the whole bang. Like when I'm doing Tai Chi or whatever, I go through the whole formalities. I can't wait until I get down to about 190. I weighed myself today. I was right at 204. If I can just get back down to 200, cross that VEX to 198, 190. If I can get there, I'll be just so incredibly happy. So anyhow, I've got to do more walking for that. Anyway, you see it's about language, right? All right. So besides the language, how many people you see are doing videos and they're giving you substance? What are they actually attempting? What are they accomplishing? Has any of them say, look, there's a community, there's some land, we need to do this? I know a lot of people used to always sit there saying, man, I wish somebody had some land. I wish I knew those people. So, because a lot of y'all are very lazy. I'd be like, come on. We got a couple of brothers, man, that got land that want to build it up, and they can't do it by themselves. It takes a community. Trust me. You can if you got that fiat. But the thing is, with more people working together, it's a family base to accomplish things. So I saw some people who used to come over here and they're watching these videos of nothing to gain. If you're that angry and that mad, maybe you need to check yourself into Bellevue crazy or something. If you're that angry and you're not going to accomplish nothing, the people who are marching, I've seen them on Facebook, this, that, and other. They don't have firearms. They don't have nothing. Some of them got records. They're not going to accomplish nothing. They're not going to ascertain or make nothing out of themselves other than being woman and man and woman mad at each other, melanated, mad at each other, no difference, never will run to help somebody unless you are part of something going to a movie or club, which is stupid, full of alcohol and drugs, and you don't want to have clarity. What are you gaining with these individuals who are halfway in a wheelchair or on their last leg? What are you gaining from them? And other than the fact that they just want more followers to make more bag, and they're not going to do nothing for you. We're at the end of the road. What are they going to do? What any of people on the East Coast, other than my boy Skyhand, who's got plenty of land, but none of you niggas, he's not going to deal with y'all. He ain't going to deal with you. Trust me, I know it. And I respect the fact he ain't going to deal with you. Because you're following idiots, you're following fools. All y'all so hyped up and so mad, and you believe everything put out by the media and everything else, instead of coming together and being what you're supposed to be, you're not going to do nothing. So what are you getting? the same old ruggamuffin. We Indian. We Indian. Look, I found some more articles. That you could do that on your own instead of being lazy. If you need to convince yourself 1,000 times over, I always say, the people who are pushing other narratives, pay them no attention. Even if they comment on your stuff, block it, get rid of it, ignore it. Don't get in your feelings about false feelings about something that means nothing, that's not going to do anything for you. I'm serious. Let's get into this language bit, right? So here, Old English, and English, pronounced Anglic, it's a weird word, or Anglo-Saxon, is the earliest recorded form of the English language, which is a lie, spoken in England, which is a lie. England does not equate to speaking English. And southern and eastern Scotland, because English, as far as legalese, is a dead, it's not even alive. It's a C term. Anyway, in the early Middle Ages, it developed from the languages brought to Great Britain by Anglo-Saxon settlers in the mid-5th century, and the first Old English literary works date from the mid-7th century after the Norman conquest of 1066. English was replaced for a time by Anglo-Norman, a relative of French. As the language of the upper classes, this is regarded as the marking of the end of the Old English era, since during this period, the English language was heavily influenced by Anglo-Norman and developing into a phase known as Middle English in England and early Scots. This is a whole lot of boo-ha-ha, which is fraudulent. Why do I say that? Language family. From Germanic, West Germanic, North Sea Germanic, Anglo-Frisian, Anglic, and Old English. Old English has nothing to do with this language. Anglic has nothing to do with this language. Anglo-Frisian has nothing. It's French Norman, which is the language they spoke up until the 14th century. North Sea, see what I just did? North Sea Germanic, West Germanic, and Germanic. Nothing to do with the language we speak. And trust me, it don't. Why do I say this? Besides the fact that I'm learning these languages, I have. 3 main languages were used in England in the latter medieval period: Middle English, Anglo-Norman, or French, and Latin. Authors made choices about which one to use, and we know the Latin was actually not Spanish, but the Latin spoke by the indigenous autochthonous people of those lands, who sprouted from over here. We know who settled in Europe, and often used more than one language in the same document, right? Well, we know that until the mid-14th century. Now, this pops the other one in the head. When late Middle English, a language heavily influenced by Norman French, became the official language, this hybrid language subsequently evolved into modern English. So if it's the 14th century, right? Just pay attention. This is not sleight of hand. Then what's 1066 and what's the 7th and 5th and 6th century got to do with this language? Nothing, because they didn't speak this language. Not one word iota. But if we come over here, okay? If we come over here and we look at skunk, bayou, hickory, teepee, toboggan, powwow, squash, turkey, canoe, and on, river, gulf. That's not Arabic, gulf. Look, man, I'm serious, y'all. Home. Those are not Proto-Germanic, Norman France, or any of those, Gaelic, or anything. These small hat individuals, and I'm done with the perverse of these bastards, identity thefts, and everything else you could think of. Our heritage. Einstein didn't invent nothing. I told you I worked at that building for almost 2 years, and I'm telling you, I met 2 of the oldest cats there that's still alive that worked there back when Einstein was there, and they were clear, very clear, he didn't invent nothing. And they were taking our inventions and patenting them so they can put us in, subjugate us in a certain position. And how did our people fall wayside and get taken up into this? Well, you got to remember, some of our family members, not mine, but some of our family members became orphans because of the war, the death of many women and men. And they took them and they put them in these churches subjugated by these families, some European, who have lost their way because of the wars that have been going on for centuries, okay? And it was important that the churches make sure we learn this broken ass, messed up, jacked up language with our language in it. All right, and Latin, Hebraicism, and everything else, because Yiddish is not the ancient language of our ancestors. See how confusing it can be? So in the South, where there was no Mongol or Mongol, because I've cross-faded every one of these words with Mongolia, Siberia, and none of these words exist. None of them. But they say they're native languages. Every language has words that have not been borrowed from other languages, but have developed with the language over time. See how that was done? You see what was so simple to do? Now I could go sit here and we could do a whole barrage of other things just to show the truth of it. And it's all the South, y'all. When I told people 5-6 years ago on goofy Facebook, and then before that we've been speaking our language, but it's a very broken one. They said, well, why do you say Chico Salumpa? I says, well, that's a language that's been changed over the period of time. Must I read that again? Every language has words that has not been borrowed from other languages, but have developed with the language over time. There's an incursion into the languages, and it's a reteaching of it by certain individuals that incorporate their languages into our language. So the Chickasaw spoken as a Choctaw. You notice there are still word similarities, but they're not Mongolian. Now, if you go to those who are Mongol and you actually pay attention, that's why all those individuals on the East Coast, you see them half-blooded Negroes running around and they accept the long-headed version of a lighter, fair skin. And those are dumb Negroes playing native on the East Coast. They don't even know their true history. And that's very problematic for me because here I am. I know my family's heritage. I've got tons of pictures going way back, y'all. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, how did they get so conflicted and so stupid at the same time? Because the education system made sure that people didn't know the truth and antiquated everything given based on the lies to bring a different perception. And I don't care about anybody. People are like, I knew my great, so what? And somebody, for safety purposes, made deals so they wouldn't be ousted from their land, from their home, all right? Bartered with people on certain things, accepted certain people. And when I told people, like, when we used to live at, reason why the Pelskis were all around us, because they wanted to encompass. That way, when we went to war, who do you think took over our identity in our land? Or when certain individuals came in and they fought alongside us, all of a sudden, the small hat and the Pope and all them frauds, the fake queens and kings, the fake ones, made sure that these people became us and we were dispersed because of the righteous people we wore up into a certain period of time. How can I prove that? Look at all my other videos that I've discussed these things. It's all there. Why are people having such a hard time and they still want to go listen to these people talking about we ain't, but they don't have there's complacency. This is what people need. Now watch people start talking this kind of jibble job. Some of y'all may say, well, somebody else was saying that. I've been saying this for the longest time. I just said today I'm gonna say it a little different. You know what I did? I allowed myself words that have been borrowed, thoughts that have been not borrowed but of mine from other languages, because I study other languages but have developed with the language over time, so it's developed in my thought capacity to look at it different and approach it different. That's with any and everything, because whenever you got something that's going on that's perverse, you've got to find a way, not around it but through it, that's meaningful. So this is what I'm doing right now. So if you still want it because you need to be in a psych ward, you need some certain meds or something to calm yourself down because you don't want to eat right, you don't want to exercise, you don't want to do the best you can to purify your water that they're poisoning on purpose, then go at it. Stay over there in the angry department, in the anger department, learning nothing, because some of them want to be teachers so bad, and they're not teachers. You got people running around with chief on their names. They're not chief. You ask them where the word chief come from, it's a French dialect, a word that has no meaning over here and with us. Now, with that being said, enough of that back and forth right there. Let's get into the Iron Republic. Because I've had enough of this stupidity, man. I hadn't met another Pilskin talking about, yeah, I'm native. Yeah, you probably are, but you're not orthogonous. You're not original to this land. You're not aboriginal. You never were, you never will be. He didn't say nothing else. Oh, we're cool. I says, I don't want to hear that no more. The majority of people from Latin America, this is what they've been saying in the last 8-10 years. Yeah, we got African American. No, you don't have an African. You have the orthogonous person. Your ass is probably from over there. Moleki, Modesi, because Moleki and Modesi are one and the same. Moleki is the southern, so-called southern outskirts are going outward from in the lower part of Africa, which wasn't Africa, it was Lower Ethiopia. Just like Italy's part of Ethiopia and everyone, or Hindustan, all those places. But see, they don't want that because they love the new world they created, the lie, the perversion. So whenever I hear Spanish brothers saying, yeah, I said, man, shut up. You have our damn bloodline, and some of us look like you. And you don't have to believe it, but if you want to be based on ignorance of being locked up and everything else in the dynamics of this fake system, then you stay right there, then you're not autochthonous, you're not Aborigine. You are not. I don't care what you're doing, how you're dancing, what you wear, ceremonial, you took our ways, and as I was stating right there, it developed over a period of time. I don't want to hear it no more. That's the reality. It's not to condemn or damn, but we're not going to play this game no more. No pitch and moon. You need to know who you are, and that's the bottom line. If you don't know who you are by now, you need to stop trying because you didn't make a valuable attempt. Trying is not. What is trying? Fall down. Try means you can't get back up. That means it's the last time. I make an attempt. That means you can make multiple attempts. The thing is, how many times do you have to make an attempt to be notified of certain information once you find it? So is that information a lie? Because all the other information is a lie? Especially when you had to dig and you had to go very hard to find this information, but there's enough of us, millions of us who have over and over. It wasn't no millions of me doing that when I was doing it. All right. Now, all over the place. When does it become enough to know, okay, well, all right, I know who I am. When do you start acclimating to the truth of who you are and standing up and being the righteous? I kind of detest the word righteous, but in the light of things, be the light of who you are. Be back in the hava of things, not this enough. Don't be don't be the Anasazi. Don't be our enemy. And our people are still not finding out because they still have these lethargic, terrible, miseducated individuals pushing the nonsense. Now, if you're not going to go at them and you don't have to curse them out, and some of you might say, well, I got to have all my ducks in a row. No, it's not meant for everybody to be able to go at these individuals. See, this is where we become very disturbing in our approaches in the vernacular of things. Everybody that finds out a little information and starts memming everybody, putting information up, this, that, and other, they believe they're supposed to teach. No, I'm sorry. When you copy pasting and putting up a whole thesaurus, you're not a teacher. Because the majority of people have beyond ADHD, and they're not going to sit there and they're going to read about a paragraph, and you got a book down here, and they're going to be like, okay, yeah. Trifling. The majority of people y'all be listening to and following are not meant to teach. They don't have a story to tell. What they will tell you about what happened in their life. I think we all got them kind of stories. The thing is to remove that dynamic and move into a different place, another place that is light, that is beautiful, even in the darkness. If that was the case, see, in the 60s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, y'all have been got up and left already. Y'all are stagnant because you're chemically lobotomized. You've been distilled to a point where there's no minerals in you, and you believe that I'm just speaking. See, you don't even know how powerful you are because you should be dead in the whole design by things of what they've been putting in our food and everything else. Yet you won't even acclimate and see that, and you won't get up and say, enough. I need to get up out of here. It doesn't matter what happens when I get to where I'm going. I just know I need to be there. So say if they drop bombs and they kill everybody, they got people, you ain't got no guns, and they start corralling you all up, putting you on vans or buses, killing the people, those of you who are speaking a certain way, and the rest of them, they're taking them off to the farms to work this, that, and the 15 and the smart homes and all like 15-minute cities and the smart cities. What do you do then? See, it's too late then, because see, you think you're safe because you become very docile. So a lot of you still brushing your teeth with fluoride, you're drinking fluoridated water. You're like, I don't care, I'm gonna have my coffee and tea. You're being very self-antagonistic and arrogant and ignorant, and you know this. And you're still gonna sit there. Stop being nosy while I come downstairs. Y'all, you paying attention to what I'm saying? Seriously. You're going to take this and brush it off too, right? Okay. You're going to learn. And I'm tired of saying you're going to learn because I don't want you to learn the hard way. You should be able to adapt to like you learned the lies and move forward and stop being stuck on stupid. But it doesn't mean you bring your hogwash with you. It means that you do the best to change who you are. It's not an impossible affair. It's not an event unable to be overcome. You can overcome all these things. It's a process of a thought, and with that, an elimination of the things that are necessary or unneeded. Just like when you get up and you say, "Oh, these pants," we wait till the pants to get a rip. Me, I keep my jeans, Levi's and Wranglers, and Carhartts. But I tell you what, if they get a rip, And I'm like, man, you got to go and you can stitch it up if times are that bad. But I'm like, I need to get rid of half of that anyway. Sometimes you got to sit there and say, okay, let me get rid of some stuff. I then took 2 bags of clothes and put them at for the home, the people who, and a lot of them ain't really homes. They just went out there drinking this, that, and then the funky, and they just want to change their clothes. So I take the bag and say, hey, go some clothes. They clean and everything. Bloop. And they just go in that bag and they just start grabbing what fit, whatever. And I see them walking around. I'm like, great. It's like when I used to make paper bag lunches. Don't worry about what I do. That's who I am. I can't pass a guy if they got $1,000 in their pocket and he's out of the side with a sign telling my veteran, I'm going to go. I don't want to see a challenge coin. I don't want to see ID. Here's $1. It's just who I am. Because that right there doesn't remove or rob me of anything. That doesn't take from me. When people going, I ain't giving that fool no $2, $3. All I got is a $10 bill. I've been riding and I had a $10 bill in my pocket. Do I have some fiat in the bank? Here you go, man. That's all I got. You want some change? If you can make change, but just keep the $10. Well, I got $8. Don't. It's all right. At least I was going to give you 2. I might have going to give you 5. See, that's the conversation I have, and we laugh. And I said, but I don't want to shake your hand because I don't know really what's going on. I ain't got no wipes and no. Not to be nasty and no fear-based, it's just the reality. I don't know, he might have a level of certain drugs and I shake his hand and I'm sitting there going, I'm just saying. Times and ages make things different. You dig what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and get in Iron Republic and read a little bit of this and then we're going to wait. And later on, I will come back. I went to sleep, y'all. And then my boy, I was waiting to see if he was going to go live and right time, I was out, bro. I was out after that nice little workout. That's why I came on and told you on the video. I was done. Yo, sweating. I was sitting there in the bed. I was reading. I was like, oh, let me let them know, man. I got to take the shower. I took a cold shower. It felt so good. I laid over the bed and was out like a light. So, because I worked out. I did 40 pace. 40. I went out today to see how many paces. It looked like 60 steps. And I walked that. And I said 30 times. The lady was sitting there talking about, no. I was talking out loud. Did I walk 30? She says, no, Mr. Branch, you walk back, because I really wasn't counting. You walk back and forth. And it's 60 paces long, y'all, in the back, where I'm at, in the sunlight. I did that she said, you walk back and forth about 70, 80 times. I was like, I thought it was 30 or 40. And I wasn't walking slow, y'all. I was in the sand, soft sand. I'm talking about like calves and shins, like French Foreign Legion type stuff. I wish I would have went to the French Foreign Legion with my brothers. All right, that's past is gone. Anyway, right? Let's go ahead and get into this. Okay. Iron Republic, edited by CJ Austin. Let's go ahead and we're going to turn this off right now. We're in chapter, excuse me, we're in chapter 5. My lips are. That's my tea, y'all. Woo! When we left the ladies and passed into the library, my host informed me that he was at my service for the day and would take pleasure in showing me about the city, which besides being the capital, was one of the most beautiful in the Republic. I have ordered a carriage which will be here in a few minutes, he said, and we will, if you please, devote the afternoon to an inspection of our principal public buildings. This afternoon, we can take a general view of the city, and now, he continued, if you will consent to wear a suit of my clothes until you can have a tailor supply you, I think it will save you some annoyance. Now, the unusual style of your dress must attract attention, and it is not pleasant to be the center of interest for the curious crowd. And I thanked him, and availing myself of his kind offer, went up to my room and made the change. As we were about the same size and proportions, the clothes fitted me admirably. And though I felt at first like a baseball player or Richie Lou at a masquerade, I was far more comfortable than I would have been in my own outlandish garb. Taking our places in a kind of motor carriage or landau that had arrived, we were whirled rapidly through many beautiful streets and squares to the capital. This magnificent building, of which I have a number of photographs on board my vessel, is modeled after the Roman Pantheon, much larger. The Roman Pantheon. Wow. Also, instead of one, there are 4 columned entrances of white and blue marble. that rose to the height of the dome and then from a richly ornamented fringe broke away into Moorish towers of great beauty. Each of these entrances was a building. You heard that right? A building of itself and above the pillared rotunda, which are which forms an entrance to an auditorium under the great dome. After several stories divided into offices for the different departments of the government, from the second floor, each of these opened into a passageway on a great gallery that ran entirely around the auditorium, and thus they were connected above the ground and within the building. Passing into one of these great vestibules was ascended a broad stairway on one side of the gallery, from which my friend said a better view could be had of the great auditorium. There were elevators on the other side, but as we were only going up to the first floor, we took the stairs. In a building, I always, if it's elevators on the first, we're just going to the first, second floor, I'm walking. I need to know how to get down in case some elevators don't work. Anywho, any adequate description of this magnificent place as it appeared to me when we walked out onto the broad gallery is beyond my powers. The auditorium, I was informed, is 200 feet in diameter beneath the dome, making the circuit of the gallery on which we stood about 600 feet. So y'all know in that book, in which we just got to reading, I think is it downstairs or is it right here? Well, the exposition, I think we got a little more to go in there. In this one, we know by the descriptions that even in George Jones' An Original History of Ancient America, you see the same epitaph even in this as far as descriptive and size and everything. Is that pretty awesome or what? I mean, you can't make this up, y'all. Okay. Okay. This balcony was supported all around on graceful columns and surmounted by a heavy bronze balustrade, which is a rare work of art. On the floor of the immense amphitheater was a platform or arena, some 50 feet in diameter, enclosed with a railing and furnished with chairs. Imagine if we were together and we decided to build and the things we could do together. No arguing who's doing this. There's no purpose for arguments and stuff. We have to cleanse ourselves of all these chaotic, dynamic things. Anyway, furnished with chairs and desks for the use of the members of the National Assembly. These were rolled to the back of the platform as the place had been used for a concert the night before, and I immediately recognized it as the place I had seen in miniature. Excuse me. Okay. From this platform, the seats in the auditorium extended back to and under the broad gallery that ran around the walls, making with the balcony. The professor informed me a seating capacity for about 15,000 persons. The seats in the body of the auditorium were built of marble with numerous aisles leading down, while those on the balcony were of bronze. Around the entire amphitheater, where the great dome sprang from the supporting walls, was a heavy gilded cornice, supported by ornament capitals resting on pillars in bas relief that extended to the floor of the balcony. Between this cornice and a heavy gilt mold of a few feet under it was the National Picture Gallery, where portraits of presidents and notables of the Republic in every field or effort. Only a small part of this space had been consumed, and was informed that if the present high grade of eligibility was maintained, it would require at least 1,000 years to fill the gallery. I was assured that to get one's portrait in this place was a greater distinction than it was to have been crowned victor in the ancient Olympian Games or to be buried in Westminster Abbey. Above the cornice was undoubtedly the most magnificent and artistic frieze ever created by the hand of man, over a groundwork of rolling cloud masses, black and storm-driven, mind you, that were piled around the circle of this grand cornice like a horizon, with pictures representing in allegory the history of the nation. Even if I were capable, the poverty of our language forbids an adequate description of this amazing work of art. Now, the first picture was a ship leaving an old world city, with all the attendant scenes that could portray the emotions of friends and kindred in the act of parting. The next was the same ship lone and wave beaten, fighting its way through the icebergs of a polar sea. In the next, the voyagers are landing with Thanksgiving on a newfound land. And so it went on, the story, mind you. The wonderful pictures all trending in the same direction with the storm-driven clouds and illustrating pioneer life, agriculture, art, science, religion, and war, and making an historical panorama which it would require days and even weeks to properly study and appreciate. See, it's not that religion, that's his cornerstone word of utilizing. It's not that religion is the problem. It's by those who control it and the things they removed that changed it when it wasn't a religion, it was a way of life. Now, for them, though, you know, in the other book, you'll see when I read that again why I say what I say. Okay. Okay. I like that. I like that too. That's really nice. I took my look. I'm not worried because I'm in Arizona, but I took the little braces off because I can buy the real one and put it on there when I want. Ain't nobody gonna tell me how to do this and other, but I'm just not trying to get caught up in these idiots watching this, that, and other in their stupidity because I don't recognize none of them. But I said it ain't like I need them motherfuckers. I got long rifles or got stock butts and everything. I got my full autos too, and I don't play with them. I run them bastards. So excuse my language, but yeah. Read the note. Asterisk. Excellent reading. So later on we'll come back and we're gonna ladies, we're gonna do the American Covenant and we're gonna do American Covenant and the women of Lemuria first, and then we're gonna get into because I want to get the last of the Exposing Exposition. We're going to hold off on original history, but we're going to get into Arthur Kessler and William Cooper because I think those are very viable. All right. So, with that being said, let's put that right there. I appreciate you guys coming in here. We're at 40 minutes, which is good enough. I'm going to shout y'all out. It's gratuity always, as usual. Rondo, what's going on, beloved? T. Hines, Snoo. Hey, what's going on? Yes, sir. Mikey Hill. Grand Elevations. I appreciate you guys coming in. I wish most people would, come in and be greeting and everything like that. And you know what I'm saying? I'll shove this brace up the clapper's ass. I know that's right. But it's unnecessary. Look, we don't play that here. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of vile things going on. And everybody that I've just talked to out here that owns one, they said the moment they hear something moving funny in the morning, and that's why a lot of them are really paying attention and listening.
Wells Fargo.
Yeah, you ass. Excuse my language. They said the moment they see something funny and something, we got some good police over here, but the feds, and we got some good sheriffs too. They said, man, they had enough. People over here is a lot. I ain't saying numbers. They've literally had enough. So let's see if this goofy infiltrator, fake ex-Navy pilot, and this goofy woman, these so-called fake-ass liberal congressman, because people here don't like liberals, man, not like that. So we know that it's all a scam. Do the right thing, make the right choice, at least make the right decision, because we know they make wrong ones all the time. Or let's see if they're going to run the gamut. Because you see what they're talking about, the debt ceiling. They're doing their best to hold it off to 2004 or 5, right? All right. So anyway, appreciate you guys taking the time. We'll be back here in a little bit. I'm going to go outside and get a little walk on. Yeah, I'm going to change out of this. You know what I'm saying? Put on my little gray sweatsuit and go take a nice, good walk. All right. Beloved sisters, my brothers, always 2 and 1. I'll see y'all here in a little bit. Hey, another thing, if y'all go back and watch any videos and you see any ads, watch it all the way through. Don't jump. Don't speed it up. Just let it play. I don't care if you got to turn it down. If you just don't, just let it play. It does a great service over here. All right. And again, I appreciate you guys. All right.